Have you been wanting to learn how to crochet? I am teaching you today how to make the most simple project that's going to give you the basics that you need to know to learn how to make crochet plushies. Hey, it's Tammy, Crafty Mompreneur. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. Just 2 short years ago, I was a brand new crocheter and I had no idea what I was doing trying to make a plushie. This was my actual first try at learning how to crochet. Today, I'm going to share with you a tutorial that helped me learn how to crochet plushies like this. The yarn I'm going to be using for today's tutorial is Big Twist Posh. And you can get this yarn at Joann's. I will say that Joann's, I've seen they have a new yarn out called Easy Peasy Woobles yarn, and that is based off of the really popular Woobles kits. And I have not actually used or learned from a Woobles kit, so I did not get that yarn. And so while that might be a great yarn, I don't have any experience with it. So I'm not going to be doing the tutorial with that yarn. I would imagine though that it's probably a pretty good yarn to use for this tutorial. The yarn I will be using is Big Twist Posh and a 5mm crochet hook. I like clover hooks the best. I have tried the cheaper hooks and there are a few that work okay. I'll put the brand name of it on the screen when I find it, but I found that this brand of hook works pretty good for amigurumi. Once I started using clover hooks, I kind of don't use anything else now. So go ahead and grab some yarn, crochet hook, and let's crochet a ball. For this tutorial, I'm going to be using Big Twist Posh yarn, a 5mm crochet hook. As I mentioned before, I like the Clover brand. You're going to need a pair of scissors, a darning needle, doesn't have to be anything fancy, and then a stitch marker or a piece of yarn, which is what I like to use to mark my stitches. You're also going to need some polyfill to stuff your ball. Now, as I mentioned before, we're going to be making a simple ball, and the techniques that you're going to learn in this is how to increase and decrease and to make a magic ring, because I feel like those are the basic stitches that you need to be able to make amigurumi toys, such as this turtle. I started with a magic ring, and it's an increase and decrease. This was my first attempt at making a ball, and I don't recommend using this acrylic type yarn. I found it very hard to work with, and that's why I'm going to be doing this tutorial with this a little bit thicker yarn that is that doesn't really shed. And it's a really popular yarn for amigurumi. So let's get started. The very first thing that you need to master when you are learning how to crochet amigurumi is the magic ring. And this is something that I struggled with a lot when I first started. And I think mainly it was because of the kind of yarn that I was trying to use to learn with. So this was what I was trying to use. I picked a kind of yarn that I had in the house, and you can see it's just not very good. And then I tried with this little yarn. This is a very common yarn that you'll find, but it's very small, and I found it really hard to work with. I mean, here's another attempt that I did. I didn't know anything about yarns, so I was just using what I had, and I don't recommend that. I have since moved on, and I like to use all different kinds of yarn, but I really feel like this yarn, you'll be able to see the stitches, and it doesn't shed like some other kinds of yarn, and I feel like this will be a good yarn for this project. I do recommend practicing the magic ring before attempting a ball. I'm going to show you how to do it in this video, but if you need more detailed instructions, please search YouTube, because there are tons of different tutorials out there. Here's how I make the magic ring. Now, you have to find a way that feels good to you, because I struggled with this for a while trying to get it right. But once you get it, you'll be able to pretty much make anything. So how I do it is I take the yarn and I lay it over my 3 fingers. Then I put my thumb over the yarn lightly, and I'm gonna wrap it around the back of my fingers. I'm gonna come up, and then I'm gonna cross over and make an X on my hands. Now I'm gonna lightly hold that and flip my hand over. I'm going to take my pinky and hold that there. Now I'm gonna take my crochet hook and I'm going to go under this first piece of yarn. I'm going to grab the second piece of yarn, pull it under, and as I pull, I'm gonna flip my hook over and make an X right by the top of my crochet hook. Now I'm gonna push the crochet hook up a bit, and you'll go under this one, grab it, and pull it through the loop. Like that. Now, you'll notice that it got all tangly and twisted. That's okay. We're going to straighten it out now, and we're going to do that by gently taking our hand off of it. See how it's twisted? You don't want that. So untwist it very carefully. See how this one is twisted around there? Untwist that one, and now you're going to be left with this. Now you need to figure out where your pulling yarn is and how you're going to close the ring. This is the string that you're going to be pulling to close the ring. So gently tug on that and see which one's moving. See that? That one's moving. So what you want to do is isolate that one, make it by itself, and pull it over here. Now you're going to have these 3 pieces of yarn on this side, and that's what you want. Okay? You have your working yarn, you have your ring, and then, I don't know, this is the pulling yarn. I don't know the fancy name for it, but that's the one that's going to close the loop, okay? So now you can see that this is the setup for the magic ring, okay? The next step is to put 6 single crochets into the magic ring. This is a very standard thing that you do in making amigurumi toys. And so I'm going to show you how to do that, because once you master this, I'm telling you, you'll be able to make amigurumi toys. So what you're going to do is, this is how I hold it. Now, again, you have to find a way that works for you. And if this is just confusing the heck out of you, I might not be the right person to teach you how to do this. This is just what works for me. Okay. So what I do is I take the crochet hook, I go under those 2, I grab the working yarn and pull it under, okay? It's getting twisted, that's okay. Go ahead and go under, and then you're gonna pull through both of those loops, okay? It's getting twisted, fix it, untwist it, okay? There's 1 single crochet. Now we're going to do it again. Under the 2, grab the working yarn, go around the 2 strings, and pull it through. There's 2. Make sure your yarn is nice and like straight. Now we're going to do it again. Around the 2, there's 3. Are they straight? Yes. Can you pull this? Yes. If you can't, you got to straighten it out. Let's do one. We need 3 more. There's another one. There's 4. Keep it straight. Do 1 more. There's 5. And then 1 more under. See, let's do the last one together. I really need to do my nails, sorry. Under the 2, grab the working yarn, 2 on the hook, yarn over or yarn under. I do yarn under, whatever. No, that's yarn over, whatever. I don't know what that is. Pull it through. Now, this is what you're left with, okay? You'll see the stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, okay? Now we're ready to close the magic ring. So it should look like this. You should be able to pull this working yarn, or this yarn tail, whatever this is. I don't know what you call this one. This is the working yarn. This is the tail, I guess. I'm not a professional, just trying to help. So let's pull the ring closed and see how we do. It should just pull right closed. Don't pull this too hard, because if you do, it'll break and then you're gonna have to do it all over again. But pull it snug enough so that that closes nice and tight, okay? This is how I do the magic ring, and this is what works for me. And then what I do to mark my rows is I just simply put a stitch marker right there. Now we're ready to begin our second round. All right, we have 6 single crochets in the magic ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're gonna find that next stitch, which is this one right here. And we're going to put 2 single crochets into that first stitch. So you're gonna go in to the stitch, grab the yarn, pull it through, grab the yarn again, pull it through both loops. That's 1. Do it again into that same hole, into the same one. Go in, grab up a loop, pull it through, yarn over, pull it through 2. Okay, so we're marked here with, this is where we started. Now we have 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. Okay, we're gonna repeat that 5 more times. Okay, so here's the stitch. If you need help seeing it, the stitch is, it's like a V. There are V's going like that, okay? It's a little bit hard to see with this yarn, but I think you'll be able to see it as you crochet. So we're gonna put 2 single crochets into the next stitch. There's 1, there's 2. And we're gonna do it again. 1, 2. And then we have 3 more stitches to do that. 1, increase. 1, 2. So this is called the increase stitch because you're putting 2 stitches into 1. Now, what has happened here? Our circle's gotten bigger and we should have 12 stitches. See, we got to our piece of yarn. Now we should have 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If you don't have 12, you need to go back to the beginning of that row and see where you might have missed one. It's completely normal when you're getting started to make mistakes, so don't worry about it. All right. The next round, we're going to be doing a single crochet and an increase. This is going to increase the size of our circle. So in the first stitch here, see right where the yarn is coming through right there, right here, see it? That's where we're going to go in. So we're going to go in right there, grab yarn, pull through. That's a single crochet. Now we're going to increase into the next one. Single crochet and then into the same stitch for the increase. Okay, now we're going to do that all the way around. So single crochet, increase. Increasing means put 2 in 1. Single crochet, increase, 2 in 1. Single crochet, increase. Single crochet, increase into the next one. Single crochet, increase into the next one. And now we're at the yarn again. Okay, so now this is what it's looking like. Okay, the next round we are going to do 2 single crochets and then an increase. Okay, so let's go ahead and start that. 1, 2, and then increase in the third one. 2 single crochets in 1. So we go 1, 2, increase into the third one. 1, 2, increase into the third one. 1, 2, increase into the third one. 1, 2, increase to the third one. 1, 2, increase into the third one. And that should bring you right back to your stitch marker. Okay, so we're on round 5. Our next one is going to be 3 single crochets and an increase. 1, 2, 3, and then we increase. 1, 2, 3 single crochets. Whoops. And then we increase. We're going to do that all the way around. 3 single crochets and then increase. I gotta get some more yarn going here. So 1, 2, 3, increase. 1, 2, 3, increase. 1, 2, 3, increase. 1, 2, 3, increase. Okay, that's basically the top of our ball. Okay, now the next step is to put in 5 rounds of single crochets. So just single crochet all the way around. And I'm probably going to just speed up this part. When you get back to the beginning after your round, make sure that you mark the end of the round. So we're coming up to the end. When you get to that last stitch, make your single crochet, and then you're going to take the piece of yarn and just pull it over on top of the stitch. Okay, now we're going to go, all right, so we finished 1, 2, 3, 4. Still need to get to round 11. So just continue crocheting single crochets all the way around. Now, if you ever forget what row you're on, I'm going to show you just how I count what row I'm on. You always want to count where you are ending your rows or wherever you're ending your rounds. So right now we're on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Your magic ring counts as 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we need to add 3 more rounds. We're starting round 8. Single crochet all the way around. I'm going to time lapse. This is the end of round 8, and we're starting round 9. So again, move your marker and single crochet all the way around. We're currently on round number 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're on round 10. We're going to single crochet all the way around. And the way that I guess maybe I should have said something earlier than this, but the way that you hold your yarn, you want to have like a nice tension on your yarn, but not, I don't generally hold my yarn really tight. I kind of just let it glide through my hands, and this is how I hold it. So I hold the piece like this, and then I have this just kind of holding it with these 2 fingers like that. And that's just what works for me, but you'll see that like I don't hold it super tight. And again, I think you just have to find a way that works for you, really. Because there's just so many different ways that you can hold the crochet hook, and what feels good for one person may not work for another. So it's you just have to practice. Oops. Okay. Coming up on the end of round 10. So this is what it's looking like. So we're going to go ahead and start the decrease round. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to be doing 3 single crochets and then a decrease because we have increased. This is our increases round to make the circle big. And now we have the middle part of the ball, and now we're going to decrease to make this go back down, to go back in. So we're going to go 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, and then here's a decrease stitch. So if you see you have 2 stitches right here, we're basically going to be crocheting them together. And for amigurumi, and crochet plushies, most call for an invisible decrease. You'll also see it as 2 stitches together or something along those lines. But for the sake of this tutorial, we're going to call it a decrease. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the front loops, which is, if you look at your stitch, you have the back loops are in here, and these are the front loops. Okay. Hope you can see those. You're going to take your crochet hook, you're going to insert it into the front loop of the first stitch, come down, and then insert it into the second stitch, a front loop only. Then you're going to yarn over, pull through those 2 loops. You're going to have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over again, and then pull through those. So you've just combined those 2 stitches into one. All right, now we're going to go 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to decrease. So into the first front loop, into the second one, front loop only, yarn over, pull through the 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. Okay, we're going to go 3 again, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to decrease again. Front loops, 1 front loop, 2 front loops, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, 1, 2, 3, front loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. All right, I'm gonna continue on and do 3 more single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and then we're gonna decrease. Grab the first front loop, second front loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. 1, 2, 3, and then you should have 2 left to do your decrease. 1, 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through. All right, so that's that round. Now you can see how it's starting to come back in. All right, now we're gonna be doing 2 single crochets and a decrease to continue decreasing the size of this hole, okay? So we're gonna go 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and then we're gonna again grab those 2 front loops, yarn over, pull through. 1, 2. I'm gonna grab those 2 front loops, yarn over, pull through. 1, 2. Grab the 2 front loops. 1, 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. That's a decrease. 1, 2, and then decrease. 1, 2, decrease. 1, 2, decrease. Okay, we only have 2 more rounds to go until our ball's closed. This you can just put back inside there. Now, you can go ahead and start stuffing the ball here. I wouldn't stuff it too much, but put a little bit of stuffing in it so you don't have to do so much when the opening is pretty small. And you can make it as much stuffing as you want, but so now the next round is a single crochet decrease. So this is generally the second to the last row of every project. There's a single crochet, and then we're going to decrease. Single crochet, and the decrease. Single crochet, and the decrease. Single crochet, and then grabbing the 2 front loops, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over, pulling through 2. Single crochet, and the decrease. Single crochet, and then that last decrease is 1, 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Our hole's gotten pretty small, so now we really need to stuff the rest of the way. So grab stuffing, and when you're stuffing amigurumi, this is just a tip. I don't like to stuff it too much, because if you stuff it too much, then the stitches, you'll be able to see the stitches more, but you get it just to the point where you like the feel of it. That is getting pretty good. The last round is usually, for me, when I was learning, I struggled with it so much until I learned a trick. And so I'm going to show you this trick because it works pretty well for any project. And you're going to notice in a lot of crochet patterns, if you decide that you start doing a lot of amigurumi, that the last round of any amigurumi is usually a decrease round, where you have to decrease every single stitch. And I found that really challenging as a brand new crocheter until I learned about this hack, or this different way of closing up an amigurumi. So I'm going to share that with you now. And again, know that this is just a tip I learned. I don't even remember where I learned it, but it's just a super helpful tip. Okay, so we're at the point where this would normally be a decrease round, where you would decrease around the whole thing. What we're going to do instead is we are going to add a single round of single crochets. So go ahead and single crochet in each stitch around. And it's still going to be a little bit challenging because it's the last round and you have all the stuffing in there. You actually could have done this and then stuffed it, but my bad on that. So single crochet all the way around. There should be 12 stitches, by the way. Okay, so that's 12 stitches, and it's gonna look like this. Okay, so right now we're going to what you call fasten off, and that's basically tying securing your yarn at the end of a round. How I do it is I just go into the next stitch, I grab the yarn, I pull through, and then I pull through again. And then leave a little bit of a yarn tail, and then cut your yarn, and then you can pull through that. And then you'll see it's kind of ties it. Now, here's where you can like finish stuffing how you like it. I'm gonna add just a little bit more until I get the ball the way I like it. Okay. And then what you wanna do is grab your needle. This is the one I'm using now. I really like it because it has a pointed or a curved end, and it's metal. It's not plastic. So go ahead and thread your needle with the end of the yarn tail. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna be closing this hole by using the front loops of each of these, okay? So what we wanna do is go in the first loop and out the second loop. So we're doing that. And then pull your yarn tail through, okay? Again, we're in the front loops only, in the first one, out the second one. Pull it through, in the first one, out the second one. 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 Now what's going to happen is we're going to be able to close up this hole. Just like that. And now you have your little ball. So what you want to do now is make sure it's nice and secure, and then what I like to do is secure it by going in and then going through and making kind of like a knot. And it kind of just looks like the rest of them, and I do that a couple times just to secure it. Make sure it's all nice and secure. And then I like to run the yarn tail through a couple of times just to kind of get it weaved into the plush. But a key thing that I didn't know is you want to make sure that you go in the same hole that you came out of when you're doing this. I didn't do that at first, and my ball would have little indentations everywhere because you're just trying to lose the tail inside of the plushie. You're not trying to like hook it to the end or anything. So make sure that you go into the same hole where you went out of. So it should just disappear back into there. Once you've gone in and out a couple times, then you can just simply clip the yarn, squeeze it a little bit, the yarn tail disappears. And then if you need to like fluff up your stuff at all, fluff up the stuffing, you can go in with your crochet hook or whatever. And there's a little ball. So I hope this video was helpful for you, and if you have any questions at all, please drop them in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. In today's video, it's gonna, that's gonna do it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget, Holly Bell, could you please go lay down? Lay down.